what's up? I'm Danny from Boss. I love fuzz. The cool thing about fuzz is that it's a lot like having multiple instruments. Not only does it give you a different sound, they also respond differently to your playing. They have different textures. They respond differently to your volume control. There's so many varieties of fuzz available, and it's just a fun effect to get into. Roland and Boss are pretty well known for fuzz pedals. We've had, things like the Roland B-Ba from back in the day, FZ-2, which is insanely popular, FZ-3, which is gaining a lot of popularity now that it's discontinued, and then we also have the FZ-5. There's one more I forgot though, I think, right? There's one more. It might have been a big deal, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, it's this one. The Tone Bender. Tone Bender we announced in December of 2020. It's a collaboration with Sola Sound. It's an amazing journey we've been on to design that fuzz because we wanted to take Sola Sound's iconic Tone Bender fuzz and make it a Boss pedal, being true to the vintage components, the vintage nature of the fuzz, but kind of put our little spin on it. It turned out awesome. It's a wonderful sounding fuzz. We've learned a lot as far as designing a consistent fuzz tone with vintage components, and that is how the FZ-1W here has been born. So the Tone Bender, the TB2W, is us, Boss, making a Sola Sound Tone Bender fuzz. The FZ-1W is Boss making a Boss fuzz, but also paying respects to the journey that fuzz pedals have come through, harkening back to the really cool fuzz face designs and the Tone Benders designs. That DNA does exist in this pedal, but we give you a Boss take on a really cool sound, all the while giving you some more modern tones with the vintage and modern switch. So a lot of people are gonna ask, what's the difference between FZ-1 and a TB2? Well, the FZ-1 is using silicon transistors. So those have a slightly different tone characteristic, but most importantly, they're sustainable. We can produce these pedals in a non-limited fashion, and that's awesome. Because it's a Boss fuzz, it also has some improvements to a typical fuzz circuit that are pretty admirable. The volume and fuzz control are really responsive. A lot of times you'll get fuzz pedals that, you pretty much just pin them at maximum to get their tone, and the fuzz control has a really limited sweep. This pedal has been designed so that these two knobs on the front here are super versatile and give you a range of overdrive sounds, a good amount of boost available as far as volume goes, and just it makes it so much more versatile to have these knobs actually be super responsive, so that's cool. So we've given you a tone control on here that is very responsive and doesn't take away the inherent nature of a fuzz. It doesn't tame it in any way. So another feature that the FZ-1W has is it has Boss buffering in it. So what that means is that you can use this with a wah pedal in front and not have some crazy squawky mess going on with the weird impedances that you see from a wah pedal. So Boss buffer included, it's the Waza Craft buffer, and it works great with pedals in front, behind, whatever, but still retains the volume control niceness that we want with fuzz. So let's check it out. I have the FZ-1W plugged into my pedal board, and what you're hearing in addition to the fuzz is the GT1000 core with a natural amp model going on and a little bit of reverb just to give it a little dynamic, a little bit of ambiance as they call it. So we push the fuzz up a little bit here. Oh, there we go, there we go. Give it a little volume here. That's awesome. Again, the tone control is super handy. So the tone control, while obviously affects the tone, it still has that splat, that texture that fuzz gives you, and that's cool. So let's check out the vintage and modern modes. Vintage is classic 60s fuzz. We want to pay homage to that type of sound with our boss spin. Modern mode gives you more mids, more gain, and more volume. So here is the difference between vintage and modern. It's always great to be able to stack it with another overdrive or an amp that's a little bit dirtier because it just gives you more textures, and again, it augments the feel of your guitar by having like a sluggish attack from a fuzz pedal. So not every fuzz works great in that regard. Sometimes fuzzes can really obliterate the sound and really take over too much and kind of have this woofiness. So what's nice about the FZ-1 is that because of the tone control and the very dynamic volume and fuzz controls, it works really good in that regard. And here's a little snippet of playing it with the FZ-1W and the FZ-1 together. So because the volume control and the fuzz control are very dynamic, you can use this as an overdrive too. So check this out. Volume up, fuzz down. You can bring in the fuzz. And then of course you can control it with your volume control. So how does it work with humbuckers, you ask? Here's my Ibanez 2630. It's got PAF style pickups in it. Let's take a listen. So that's the Boss FZ-1W. It's made with love in Japan by our Waza Craft team. It sounds great. It's versatile but simple. Check it out. Have a great day. Stay cool, everyone.
Long and McQuaid, where the music begins.